Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew, this is the Extra Ammo channel, and today we're going to be talking about lasers. More specifically, a new laser aiming module from Holosun, the IRIS-4. Let's get into it. Okay, so what is the Holosun IRIS-4? It is a visible green laser, an infrared laser, which are slaved together, so you zero one and you zeroed both, a infrared illuminator, and a visible illuminator, also known as a flashlight. This unit does a lot of things that realistically you would have needed two or more devices to do in the past. Now, that immediately raises skepticism, right? When you have all sorts of things in one device, well, is it going to do any of them well? And in this particular instance, I will say I'm very impressed. Now, what I did is I compared this unit with a PEC 15. Now, this is a full power one that I got very creatively. IR laser and illuminator. I compared it to this Surefire XVL2 Vampire 2-in-1 combo light. This also has a white light, but I didn't see the need to compare it because it was very, very dim. I was originally going to compare it to the Holosun IRIS-3, but when I saw that the performance was basically identical, I discontinued that testing to save time. It seems like they really just added the bright white light to this guy, and that's how you got the new one. And I have a Surefire dual fuel turbo here. Now, for all of this testing, I used the CR123 instead of the battery that it comes with, so I thought I would get a level playing field to talk about. So let's go look at some of the tests I took and see if we can draw any conclusions. Okay, so first off here, we are looking at 50 yards at the Surefire XVL2. Now that's an all-in-one unit as well, but this one does not have a very tight beam on the illuminator. But at 50 yards, as you can see here, you can use the infrared laser rather effectively, and the illuminator definitely gives you enough splash to identify targets. Now we move to the Holosun Iris on the left and the PEC 15 on the right. Now, first thing you'll notice is that this camera is having a hard time picking up these beams a little bit. That is not as obvious in my dual tubes. Now, on the left, you'll see that it is a little bit washed out, but the right-hand military power laser is definitely hard to identify here. Now, of course, you could knock the PEC 15 down to a civilian amount of IR power, but at that point, what's the point of getting a fancy laser if you're just going to use it on low power? At this distance, we're good, but when we move to 100 yards, we'll see that the left-hand Holosun Iris, with the ability to actually focus the illuminator, actually starts to be a little bit clearer. Now, once again, the high power laser is definitely splashing a little bit, and that would be super useful for further ranges, but at 100 yards, I'm not sure I see that much benefit. Now, when we look at the Surefire XVL2, once again, this one is at a distance where it becomes really kind of hard to use just that laser. Might seem like it's usable, but really it's covering up far too much of your aiming point at this distance. Now, when we look at white lights, notice that 50 yards here, the Holosun Iris and the Surefire are actually kind of hard to tell apart. There is definitely a little bit more hotspot, a little bit more focus on the Surefire on the right, but it's not that noticeable, even when we go out to 100 yards. Now, yes, there's still a tighter beam on the Surefire than the Holosun, but they are both very usable at 100 yards. Now, I did get a new iPhone, and it has a very, very fancy zoom, so I got all the way zoomed in, optical zoom apparently, view of the two of them with the lights at 100 yards. And honestly, between the two of them, I'd say maybe the Surefire takes it, probably not by much. Okay, so I've got a few more stats here on the screen for you guys. I did a little bit of a test. It seems like the Holosun lasts about 2 hours when you leave the light on, And the Surefire went for about 1.5 hours, and then it knocked down to really low and went for another 2.5 hours, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, between the two setups, one with the PEC 15 and one with the IRIS-4, you get one unit that could fail all at once and just uses one set of batteries, but it does come with a reduction in cost. So keep that in mind. Okay, so what do I think in conclusion? I think the Holosun IRIS-4 is a very neat new addition to this space. It's definitely competitive with other civilian power lasers that are on the market, and it does rather well when you compare it to a lot of the weapon lights on the market. When you consider how much it weighs and that it is an all-in-one unit, I think that this is a great option for a lot of use cases and applications. But what do you guys think? Comment below if you agree, disagree, if you want me to test something else next. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow the subscriber count of the channel. That's the next thing I really need here. But, as always, I've been Andrew. This has been the Extra Ammo channel, and thank you for coming to my lead talk. See you next time.